Hey guys, Miss Vasquez here, and today we're going to multiply a fraction by a whole. When we're multiplying a fraction by a whole, this is when I'm looking for a fraction or a part of some type of whole number. So the whole number could represent people, the whole number could represent objects or things, but I'm looking for part of them, not the whole group. So in this case, if I had half of my group of 8, maybe half of them are girls, maybe half of them are boys, but I'm going to be looking at the group of 8 and finding half of them today. So in order to do that, you have to follow the 3 steps. You're going to draw boxes to represent your whole number. Use fractions to create your groups. The denominator will represent the number that's in each group when you're grouping them, and the numerator is the number of shaded holes that you are going to fill in to figure out what your answer is. Then number 3, you're going to count the shaded parts to find your final answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. So the first one says weather delayed 4/6 of the 24 flights. This is a really important piece. This tells you how to set up your problem. So this is a fraction times a whole number. Okay, departing from an airport. All of the departing flights are listed in the chart. So they actually created your holes for you. So here's a chart, and each one of these represents one whole flight that is departing. How many flights departing from the airport were delayed by weather? So we know 4 out of 6, 4/6 of the 24 flights were delayed. So we want to figure out how many of flights were actually delayed, because not all of them, only 4/6 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first draw my box. Well, they drew it for me. Second, you're going to use the fraction to create your groups. Well, 4/6 tells me that the denominator says that there's 6 flights in each group. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is going to be one group right here. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That represents another group here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's another group of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's our last group of 6. So we've grouped them into groups of 6 flights. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, and it says that 4, which is my numerator, out of 6 of the flights were delayed. So if I go through and I color in 4 out of every 6 flights, it should give me my answer. So I see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6, 5, 6. So I'm going to do that here. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. So now if I go back and I count all the flights, I can figure out how many flights departed from the airport were delayed by weather. So my answer is going to be how many pink shades I have colored in. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have 16 flights that were delayed. By the weather. Okay, it's really important that you don't get confused and count these as parts of a whole, which is really easy to do. You have to remind yourself, I'm talking about a flight. A flight is one whole flight, not a part of a flight. I can't take half of a plane up in the air. That doesn't make sense. So each of these represent a whole, so when you're counting them off, you should get a whole number as your answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next one. Sam has 8 baseball cards. He gives half to his brother Grayson. How many baseball cards did he give Grayson? So what I want you to do is go ahead and set up this problem. You need to draw out first your boxes to represent your holes. How many boxes do you think you're going to be drawing out today? Okay, so if you did this correctly, you should be drawing out 8 boxes. They don't need to be big. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they almost look like the size of little baseball cards. Okay, so then my next step tells me that I need to use my fraction to create groups. So if I use my fraction to create groups, I know that I am looking at my fraction here, and the 1 is what I'm going to shade in each group, but in order to create groups, this is how many are in each group. Okay, so I need to find and group these by 2. So this would be a group, 1, 2, this would be a group, 1, 2, this would be a group, 1, 2, this would be a group. And what this is telling me is every one of 2 cards will be shaded. So I'm going to shade 1 of every 2 cards that I see. So here's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now I'm going to go back to the question, and it says, how many baseball cards did he give Grayson? So I'm going to count how many shades I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shades. 4 baseball cards were given to Grayson. Okay, and now I have my answer. Remember, these represent whole cards, not parts of a card, because I'm not going to tear my card in half and have it lose its value. I'm going to give them the whole card. Okay. Let's try this one more time. I want you to go ahead and try this on your own before we begin. Okay, so let's see how you did. So when you first started, how many holes did you draw? Well, if you're looking at how many holes you have 15. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. How am I going to group these 15 holes if I'm trying to find 2/5 of 15 holes? If you said that we were supposed to group them into 5 parts because of the denominator, or 5 in each group, you would be correct. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this represents one group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's another group. Okay, so now that I've grouped them, I know that I'm going to use my numerator to tell me how many I shade in every single group. So, how many do you think I shade in this group? Okay, so if you're looking at your numerator, you're going to shade 2 out of every 5. So I'm going to go through and I want to say, okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now that I've done it, 2 out of 5 are shaded in every single group. So now it's time to figure out, well, what is the answer? What is 2/5 of 15? How many holes do I have if I pick 2 out of every 5 people that walk by me and 15 people walked by me? Well, I'm going to count my shades. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shaded. So that means 6 is my answer for this problem. 2/5 of 15 is 6. I hope that was easy and clear. Please finish this Edpuzzle and tell me how you feel about multiplying a fraction by a whole.